grab their attention immediately. If you want to change your life, you probably think you need more motivation. You might even believe that you fail at your goals because you're lazy, undisciplined, or just not consistent enough. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Your failure is not a personal flaw, it's a systems problem. The reason most people don't achieve what they want isn't because they aren't trying hard enough. It's because they're relying on bursts of willpower instead of building processes that make success inevitable. Think about it. You get inspired to go to the gym, so you go. For a week. Then life gets busy. You skip a day. Then 2. Then your gym membership becomes a monthly donation. You promise yourself you'll save money. You skip a coffee here and there, but without an automatic plan, that extra cash just disappears. You decide you want to read more. You buy the books, they sit on the shelf. The excitement fades, and you feel guilty every time you look at them. Sound familiar? Here's the key. Motivation is a spark. Systems are the engine. You can't drive across the country by striking a match. You need a machine that keeps running, no matter what the weather's like. Why this matters now? We live in a world that constantly tells us to set goals and believe in ourselves. But here's the thing. Goals are just destinations. They don't tell you how to actually get there. If you want to get fit, lose 20 pounds is the goal. But it's the system, a consistent workout schedule, meal planning, tracking progress, that actually gets you there. If you want to write a book, finish 50,000 words is the goal. But it's the system, writing 500 words a day before breakfast, that turns that goal into a reality. Without a system, your brain has to make the decision to try again every single day. And every single day, you risk saying, "Not today." Defining systems in plain English. A system is simply a repeatable process that produces reliable results over time. Think of it like this. A goal is to have clean clothes. A system is doing laundry every Sunday at 4 p.m. without fail. Goals tell you what you want. Systems tell you how to get it, without relying on a fresh wave of inspiration every morning. The beauty of a system is that it works even on days you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated, because it's no longer a decision you make. It's just something you do. The shift from motivation to systems. Let me illustrate the difference with 2 people who both want to run a marathon. Person A wakes up and thinks, "I hope I feel motivated to train today." Some days they run, some days they don't. Training is based entirely on mood. Person B has a system, runs 3 days a week at 7 a.m., rain or shine. The running shoes are by the door, the calendar is set, and a running partner is waiting at the park. A year later, Person A has run sometimes. Person B has finished the marathon. Not because Person B had more discipline, but because they didn't give themselves the option to skip. This is the magic of systems. They remove the mental friction that kills momentum. Why systems beat motivation? Motivation is a feeling. Feelings change. Systems are structures. Structures hold even when feelings fade. Consider these points. Motivation is unpredictable. Some days you feel fired up, other days you'd rather binge watch Netflix. Decision fatigue is real. The more choices you make in a day, the harder it is to make the right ones. A system removes daily decisions. You just follow the process. Systems create compounding results. Doing something small, consistently, produces massive outcomes over time, just like interest in a savings account. A quick story. How a simple system changed my life. Years ago, I struggled with fitness. I'd get excited, buy new workout clothes, and hit the gym hard for a week. Then I'd skip just one day, and the whole routine collapsed. One day, I stopped focusing on getting fit as a vague goal, instead built a simple system. Lay out gym clothes before bed, go to the gym every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 a.m., no negotiations. Track each workout in a notebook. Within 6 months, I was stronger, healthier, and most importantly, it felt weird to miss a workout. I didn't need motivation anymore. The system carried me forward. By the end of this guide, you'll know how to identify the areas of your life that need better systems. Build routines that run on autopilot. Remove the friction that stops you from taking action. Adjust systems over time so they keep working as your life changes. We're going to take the guesswork out of self-improvement and give you a blueprint you can apply to anything: your health, your career, your finances, even your relationships. And the best part is, once the system is in place, you no longer have to try harder every day. You just have to press play. So, here's how this is going to work. We'll look at why goals alone fail and why the world's most successful people obsess over their systems. We'll break down exactly what a life-changing system looks like and how to make one that fits your personality. I'll walk you through a step-by-step process to set up your first system, starting today. We'll troubleshoot the mistakes most people make and how to keep your system running long-term. By the time you finish, you won't just know about systems, you'll be living inside one. And that's when the magic happens. Key takeaway for now: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Build better systems, and a better life becomes automatic. The problem with goals alone. Why goals aren't enough. You've been told all your life, set big goals, dream big, reach for the stars. And yes, goals are important. They give you direction. They're like the destination on a map. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Goals by themselves don't get you anywhere. Think about it. Two runners both have the same goal: finish a marathon. One of them trains every day according to a plan. The other trains when they feel like it. Who's crossing the finish line? The difference isn't the goal, it's the process. 3 big problems with relying on goals alone. 1. Goals are temporary wins. Imagine you set a goal to lose 20 pounds. You work hard, eat clean, exercise regularly. You hit the target. Congratulations! But here's the trap. Once the goal is achieved, the motivation often disappears. Without a system to maintain your habits, the weight slowly comes back. This is why so many people yo-yo in their progress. Goals get you to the outcome, but they don't keep you there. 2. Goals depend on motivation. Goals require you to wake up every day and ask yourself, do I feel like doing this today? And let's be honest, most days the answer is no. Life is messy. You're tired, work runs late, the weather's bad, you're stressed. If your action plan depends on feeling motivated, you're going to lose more days than you win. Systems solve this by removing the daily decision-making. You don't ask, should I? You just follow the process. 3. Goals create all-or-nothing thinking. When you set a goal like run a marathon in 6 months, what happens if you get sick, miss a few weeks of training, and realize you won't make it? Most people quit entirely. Why? Because in their mind, if they can't hit the exact goal, it's a failure. Systems, on the other hand, focus on the process. If your system is run 3 days a week, then even if you miss a few sessions, you're still maintaining progress, and you can jump back in without feeling like a failure. Why people keep making the same mistake? Part of the problem is that goals sound sexy. We love saying, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to get 6-pack abs. But saying these things is easier than designing a daily routine that makes them happen. It's much easier to post about your big dream than to quietly show up and do the work every day. Another reason, goals give you a temporary high. Setting a goal feels like progress, even though nothing has changed yet. The illusion of progress. When you set a goal, you get a dopamine hit from imagining the result. You think about holding your finished book, seeing your bank account grow, or posting that before and after photo. Your brain loves it. But unless you turn that vision into a system, it stays fantasy. Here's the dangerous part. Setting new goals without building systems creates a loop where you keep feeling motivated for a short burst, then crash when reality sets in. You start again with a new goal, repeating the cycle without ever building sustainable habits. What happens when you only focus on goals? Let's walk through a typical example. Set the goal, I'm going to run a 5K in 3 months. Feel excited. Buy running shoes, tell your friends, maybe post on Instagram. Start strong. Run a few times in the first week. Life happens. Bad weather, long work days, a weekend trip. Momentum breaks. You skip a few days and feel guilty. Lose interest. The race seems far away. Motivation is gone. Quit. The shoes go in the closet until the next time you feel motivated. This pattern happens with fitness, finances, learning, relationships, you name it. Without a repeatable system, your progress is fragile. The mental weight of goal chasing. Goals also carry a hidden cost, the constant reminder that you're not there yet. When your focus is always on the end result, you live in a state of, I'm not good enough yet. That can be motivating for a short while, but over time it becomes exhausting. Systems flip this feeling. Instead of focusing on what you haven't achieved, you focus on executing the process today. Every time you follow your system, you win. That builds momentum and confidence. A better way to think about goals. To be clear, I'm not saying you should throw your goals in the trash. Goals are useful. They tell you where you want to go. But they should be the compass, not the engine. Think of it like this. Goal. Reach the top of the mountain. System, the daily steps, rest breaks, and route planning that get you there. The goal points you in the right direction. The system moves you forward, step by step. Case study, goals versus systems in real life. Let's compare two people with the same goal, saving $5,000 in a year. Person A sets the goal, I'm going to save $5,000 this year. Each month tries to spend less and save what's left over. Some months they save a lot, some months nothing. At the end of the year, they've saved $1,200. Not bad, but far from the goal. Person B, same goal, but they create a system, automatic transfer of $100 from each paycheck into a separate savings account. They don't think about it, it just happens. At the end of the year, they've saved $5,200 without relying on motivation or willpower. The difference? A system turns a wish into a guarantee. The transition to systems thinking. This is where most people fail. They set the goal, but never ask what small, repeatable actions will make this happen automatically. How can I design my environment so the right choice is the easy choice? What will keep this running when I feel tired, stressed, or distracted? If you start asking those questions, you're already moving from goal thinking to system thinking. The takeaway: goals give you direction, systems give you progress. If you focus only on goals, you'll burn out. You'll ride the motivation roller coaster. You'll start over again and again. If you focus on systems, progress becomes automatic. You win daily, not just when you hit the big target. You create habits that last a lifetime. What is a system? Let's start simple. If I asked you right now, what's your system for achieving your goals, what would you say? Most people respond with something like, I try to stay motivated. I just push myself. I set deadlines. That's not a system. That's wishful thinking with a to-do list on top. A system is a repeatable process that works without depending on your mood, motivation, or memory. It's a structure that carries you forward even when you're tired, distracted, or not feeling it. The core definition. Here's the simplest way to put it.
A system is a set of small, consistent actions designed to produce a desired result automatically over time. Small, not overwhelming, easy to stick with daily or weekly. Consistent, happens regularly no matter what's going on in life. Designed, it's intentional, not random. Automatic, requires as little willpower as possible. Over time, focuses on the long game, not instant results. The difference between systems and goals in action. Imagine two writers. Writer A sets a goal, I'll finish my book by December 1st. They write whenever they feel like it. Some weeks they write a lot, some weeks not at all. By November, they're panicking and rushing. Writer B has a system. Write 500 words every weekday before 9 a.m. It doesn't matter if they feel inspired. By December 1st, they've written 65,000 words without stress. The difference isn't talent, it's the system. The 4 key traits of a good system. 1. It's easy to start. The best systems don't require massive effort to begin. They remove friction so starting feels natural. Example, if your system is to work out in the morning, you lay out your workout clothes the night before. You make getting started so easy it's harder not to do it. 2. It fits into your existing life. A system that requires you to radically change your entire schedule will probably fail. The best ones piggyback on habits you already have. Example, if you want to floss, you keep floss right next to your toothbrush and do it immediately after brushing. That's habit stacking, attaching a new action to an existing habit. 3. It's mostly automated. The less you rely on remembering or feeling motivated, the better. Example, instead of remembering to transfer money to savings, set up an automatic bank transfer. That's automation, a system that runs without you lifting a finger. 4. It's trackable and adjustable. You need to know if the system is working. That means tracking results and reviewing when necessary. Example, if your system is to write daily, you track word counts and review weekly to see if you're meeting your targets. Why systems work so well? They reduce decision fatigue. Every decision you make costs mental energy. If you have to decide every day to work on your goal, you'll lose to fatigue eventually. A system removes the decision. It's just what you do. They create momentum. Small, consistent actions build up into habits. Once a habit is in place, it's harder to stop than to keep going. They scale results. A single action may not seem like much, but repeated over months or years, the results compound. Example, saving $10 a day feels small, but in 10 years, with interest, it can turn into thousands of dollars. Examples of everyday systems. Health system.
Goal: lose weight. System: meal prep every Sunday. Exercise 30 minutes every weekday morning. Track food daily in an app. Money system. Goal: save $10,000. System: automatic transfer of $200 every paycheck into a high-yield savings account. Avoid impulse purchases by waiting 24 hours before buying anything over $50. Learning system. Goal: learn Spanish. System: practice 15 minutes on a language app every morning. Watch one Spanish YouTube video during lunch, and review flashcards before bed. Productivity system. Goal: stop procrastinating. System: start the day with a 10-minute planning session. Block work time into 90-minute focus sessions. Turn off notifications during those blocks. Designing your first system. If you're new to this, here's a simple framework to design your own system. Pick one area of life to improve: health, career, relationships, learning, finances. Start small. Define a simple process. What's the smallest consistent action that moves you toward the goal? Attach it to something you already do. Habit stacking is key to making it stick. Make it automatic. Use reminders, alarms, or automation tools to remove the need for willpower.
Track and adjust. Review weekly or monthly. If it's not working, tweak, not quit. A real-world story. A friend of mine wanted to read more books. Her goal was read 20 books this year. When she tried it with just a goal, she read 2 books by June, already far behind. So she switched to a system. Read 10 pages every morning after coffee. Keep the book on the kitchen table so she saw it immediately. Use a bookmark that marked the day's target. By December, she had read 27 books without ever trying harder. She just followed the system. The mindset shift that changes everything. When you move from goal-focused thinking to system-focused thinking, you stop chasing results and start building habits that produce them automatically. Instead of saying, "I want to run a marathon," you say, "I'm a person who runs 3 times a week." Instead of saying, "I want to save money," you say, "I'm a person who saves 10% of every paycheck." Instead of saying, "I want to be healthier," you say, "I'm a person who eats vegetables with every meal." The identity shifts, and once your identity changes, your behavior follows naturally. The takeaway. A system isn't a plan you make once, it's a machine you keep running. Goals are destinations. Systems are vehicles. Without a destination, you don't know where you're going. Without a vehicle, you never get there. If you can design a few simple, sustainable systems and stick with them, you can transform any part of your life without the constant uphill battle of staying motivated. Setting up your first system. You've got the idea. Systems make success inevitable. Now it's time to get tactical. This is where we turn theory into something you can implement today, even before you finish your coffee. Think of this section as your system-building blueprint. You don't need to overhaul your entire life at once. We'll start small. Focus on one area and build from there. Choose one area to improve. Your first system should target a specific area of life, something you care about enough to commit to for the next month. Common starting points: health, exercise, diet, sleep. Career, money, saving, debt payoff, budgeting. Learning, reading, skill building, languages. Productivity, focus, time management, organization. Relationships, quality time, communication. Pro tip: pick something that will make a noticeable difference quickly. Early wins keep motivation high while your system becomes a habit. Define the end result. Now ask, if this system worked perfectly, what would my life look like? Examples: I'll have $1,000 in my emergency fund. I'll be able to run 5 kilometers without stopping. I'll read 12 books this year. This isn't about setting another big goal. It's about clarifying the target so you can reverse engineer the system. Break it down to the smallest possible action. This is where most people fail. They make their system too big from the start. Instead, you want minimum viable effort, the smallest action you can do consistently. Examples: instead of run 5 miles a day, start with run for 10 minutes. Instead of read an hour every night, start with read 2 pages after breakfast. Instead of save $500 a month, start with save $20 from every paycheck. Attach it to an existing habit. Your brain loves routines. If you attach your new system to something you already do automatically, it's more likely to stick. This is called habit stacking. Examples: after brushing your teeth, do 10 push-ups. After pouring your morning coffee, write 3 sentences. After putting your phone on the charger, review your budget for 5 minutes. The trigger, existing habit, acts as a built-in reminder. Remove barriers and friction. Every system will face resistance. Your job is to make following the system easier than skipping it. Ask yourself, what slows me down or makes me skip it? How can I make this effortless? Examples: want to exercise? Lay out your clothes the night before. Want to eat healthier? Chop vegetables in bulk on Sunday. Want to study? Keep your notebook open on your desk. A major tip: don't overlook the effectiveness of just making it environmentally easier to act. Often simply seeing something is enough to trigger your behavior. Automate when possible. Automation is like putting your system on autopilot. The less you rely on remembering or making a choice, the more consistent you'll be. Examples: set up automatic bill payments. Schedule calendar reminders for workouts. Use an app to track water intake or steps. If a machine or software can do it for you, let it. Build in accountability. Even the best systems can fade if no one notices when you skip. Accountability keeps you honest. Ways to add accountability. Share your plan with a friend. Join a group or online challenge. Hire a coach or mentor. Use habit tracking apps that send streak reminders. Accountability is external motivation layered on top of your system. It's a safety net. Track and review. You can't improve what you don't measure. Tracking gives you feedback, both to celebrate wins and to spot problems early. Methods. Journal daily actions.
Use habit tracker apps. Mark off a physical calendar. Pro tip: review your system weekly. Ask, is this still the smallest possible action? Am I doing it without much effort? Do I need to adjust? Adjust without quitting. Every system will need tweaks. Life changes. Schedules shift. The key is to adapt instead of abandon. Example: if you can't make your morning workout, try lunchtime or evening. If your daily savings goal is too high, lower it instead of stopping entirely. If reading before bed makes you sleepy, switch to mornings. Your system should serve you, not trap you. Scale up gradually. Once your system feels automatic, you can expand it, but only after it's a habit. Examples: from 10 minutes of running to 20 minutes, from $20 saved per paycheck to $50, from reading 2 pages to a chapter. This keeps progress sustainable without burning out. A real-life walkthrough. Let's say your area of focus is saving money. Choose the area, finances. Define the end result. Have $1,000 in an emergency fund within 6 months. Smallest action, save $10 a week. Attach to a habit. Every Friday after payday, transfer $10. Remove barriers. Set up the savings account online so it's separate from spending money. Automate. Schedule an automatic transfer. Accountability. Tell a friend you're doing this and share updates monthly. Track progress. Use a spreadsheet or bank app to see the balance grow. Adjust. If you get a raise, increase savings to $20 a week. Scale. Once $1,000 is reached, start directing savings toward investments or debt payoff. This system is small, specific, and almost impossible to fail if followed. Why this works? When you follow these steps, you start small enough that you can't talk yourself out of it. You attach it to something you already do so you don't forget. You remove friction and automate so it runs with minimal effort. You review and adjust so it keeps fitting your life. This is how systems turn into lifestyle upgrades, not short-lived bursts of effort. Your homework. By the end of today, pick one area of life you want to improve. Follow steps 1 to 3 to create a tiny daily or weekly action. Attach it to an existing habit and set up any automation you can. Commit to 30 days of running this system without changing it. Common mistakes to avoid. By now, you understand what systems are, why they work, and how to set them up. But here's the truth. Even the best system can fail if you fall into the traps that derail most people. The good news is, these mistakes are predictable and preventable. Let's go through the most common ones, why they happen, and exactly how to avoid them. Making the system too complicated. The problem is, when you first get excited about building a system, it's tempting to load it with too many steps, tools, or rules. Example: you want a fitness system. Instead of starting with a simple workout 3 days a week, you plan a 90-minute gym session, special supplements, a strict diet, and a tracking spreadsheet, all starting Monday. Result: overwhelm hits in week 1 and you quit. The fix: start with the smallest possible version of the system that still moves you forward.
Focus on consistency, not complexity. Once it feels automatic, add new elements gradually. Rule of thumb: if your system feels like a project instead of a habit, it's too complicated. Making too many changes at once. The problem is, you get excited about self-improvement and decide to overhaul everything. New diet, daily workouts, morning meditation, reading an hour a day, journaling, no sugar, and 8 hours of sleep. 2 weeks later, you're exhausted, behind schedule, and feel like a failure. The fix: implement one new system at a time and master it before adding another. Give each system at least 30 days to stick before layering on more. Small changes compound. 10 years from now, those changes can completely transform your life, but only if they survive long enough to become habits. Not tracking your progress. The problem is, you set up a system, follow it for a while, but have no way of knowing if it's actually working. Without visible progress, motivation fades. Example: you start saving money, but never check your balance. It feels like nothing is happening, so you stop. The fix: track something: time spent, repetitions, amounts, streaks. Review weekly to see growth and make adjustments. Progress, no matter how small, fuels momentum. Relying on willpower. The problem is, you create a system but leave too many decisions up to your daily mood or energy level. Example: your system is to work on your side project whenever you have free time. Guess what? That free time never magically appears. The fix: build clear triggers into your system. E.g., after lunch, I spend 20 minutes on my side project. Remove the need to decide. Your system should tell you when and how to act. Willpower is unreliable. A system that runs on triggers, automation, and environment design is unstoppable. Ignoring the environment. The problem is, you build a system but keep yourself surrounded by temptations, distractions, or barriers. Example: your system is to eat healthier, but your pantry is still full of chips, cookies, and soda. The fix: design your environment so the default choice is the right one. Remove friction for good habits and add friction for bad ones. Want to work out? Keep your gym clothes visible. Want to stop snacking? Don't keep snacks in the house. Failing to review and adjust. The problem is, you set up your system once and never check if it's still effective. Life changes, schedules shift, and what worked before might not work now. Example: your morning reading routine worked great before you had kids. Now it's impossible, but you keep trying and failing instead of adapting. The fix: schedule monthly check-ins with your system. Ask, is this still realistic? Am I getting the results I want? Be willing to tweak without abandoning the system entirely. Flexibility keeps your systems alive through life's inevitable changes. Expecting instant results. The problem is, you set up a system, follow it for 2 weeks, and get frustrated because you're not seeing big changes yet. Example: you start learning guitar for 15 minutes a day, but quit after a month because you're still not good. Solidify before you multiply. The temptation after creating your first system is to start 10 more. Resist it. A system is only valuable when it becomes automatic. If you pile on too many too fast, you dilute your focus and risk dropping them all. Rule of thumb: have at least 30 days of consistency with your first system before adding another. Only add new systems when the old one feels almost effortless. Think of it like building muscle. You strengthen one area, then gradually add more weight and complexity. Choose systems that complement each other. Stacking works best when systems overlap in purpose or energy demands. For example, if you've built a morning workout system, you could stack a morning learning system right after it. If you have a weekly budgeting system, you could stack a meal planning system on the same day to control spending and health at once. This way, each system reinforces the others instead of competing for time and energy. Use anchor points for stacking. An anchor point is a habit or event already in your life that you attach new systems to. Examples: after brushing your teeth, anchor, you meditate for 2 minutes. New system. After finishing your weekly grocery trip, anchor, you prep your lunches for the week. New system. After Sunday dinner, anchor, you send your weekly relationship messages. New system. Anchor points create natural hooks in your day, making it easier to remember and execute multiple systems without needing reminders. Create a systems map. It's hard to manage what you can't see. Once you have 3 to 5 systems in place, it's worth mapping them out. Write down each system, its trigger, and its frequency. Draw connections between systems that support each other. Identify gaps, areas of life that still run on chaos or chance. A simple notebook page, whiteboard, or digital mind map works fine. This visual shows you where your life is running smoothly and where new systems could make a big difference. Avoid system overload. Here is the danger. Systems are exciting at first. You may feel the urge to create one for everything: sleep, work, learning, cleaning, relationships, finances, hobbies, travel, etc. Too many systems can create mental fatigue, make your life feel overly rigid, cause you to drop several when life gets stressful. The sweet spot is 5 to 8 core systems that handle the most important areas of your life. The rest can remain flexible. Automate where possible. Scaling is easier when you automate repetitive parts of your systems. This frees you to focus on high-value actions. Examples: automate savings and bill payments. Use recurring calendar events for workouts, planning, or check-ins. Use apps for habit tracking so you don't have to remember manually. Automation doesn't replace your systems. It strengthens them by removing opportunities for you to forget or delay. Align systems with your energy cycles. Not all hours are equally created. When stacking multiple systems, consider your natural energy patterns. Morning person? Stack your most demanding systems early. Night owl? Put creative or deep focus systems in the evening. Have a mid-afternoon slump? That's a good slot for lighter, lower-effort systems, like relationship touchpoints or idea capture. Matching systems to energy makes them easier to sustain long-term. Run weekly system reviews. Once you have several systems running, things can drift. A weekly review keeps them sharp. Look at each system. Did you follow it? Note any friction points. What felt hard or clunky? Adjust. Tweak timing, simplify steps, or re-anchor it. Think of it like tuning an engine. Small adjustments keep performance high. Scale impact, not just quantity. More systems don't always mean better results. Focus on scaling the impact of your best systems before adding new ones. Example: if your reading system is 10 minutes per day, scaling might mean moving to 20 minutes or adding a book summary journal. If your fitness system is 3 times per week, scaling might mean increasing intensity or tracking progress. This deepens results without overloading you with entirely new habits. Example of a fully stacked systems lifestyle. Let's say you've been adding systems over a year. Morning routine, 10 minutes of stretching, 20 minutes of reading, daily planning. Work routine. Start with the 3 most important tasks system. Health maintenance, 3 times per week workouts plus Sunday meal prep. Finance, automatic savings every payday plus monthly expense review. Relationships, weekly Sunday connection ritual. Learning, daily 15-minute language study. These systems overlap naturally. Meal prep supports health and finances. Morning reading supports learning. Sunday connection ritual pairs with expense review for a life admin day. This web of systems means progress in multiple areas without chaos. Your routines carry you forward. Keep systems flexible. Life changes. New job, moving cities, health challenges, all can disrupt even the best systems. The key to scaling long-term is flexibility. If your gym system fails after moving, replace it with home workouts. If your morning reading habit disappears after having kids, try audiobooks during stroller walks. The principle stays, but the method adapts. Momentum compounds. The beauty of stacking and scaling is that momentum multiplies. At first, you put an effort to start and maintain systems, but as more become automatic, they feed each other. Better health improves focus, making your learning system more effective. Better finances reduce stress, making your relationship system easier. Better planning reduces chaos, freeing time for creative systems. Before long, your life feels less like juggling and more like cruising on a well-built track. You don't just have systems, you have a self-sustaining lifestyle machine.
Do it now, before you get distracted, before the day ends, before the "I'll do it tomorrow" trap sets in. The final truth: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If your systems are strong, you don't have to fight for every win. They come naturally. If your systems are weak, no amount of motivation will keep you on track forever. Build the system, and the results will follow. One last challenge. I'll leave you with this. Think of one thing you've wanted for years but haven't achieved yet. Ask yourself honestly, have you built a system that makes it inevitable? Or have you been relying on bursts of willpower and hoping for the best? If it's the second, now you know the fix. And it starts with one decision today. Not to try harder, not to wait until the time is right, but to build the system that makes it happen, one small, repeatable step at a time. The rest of your life can change from this moment forward, not because you suddenly became more motivated, but because you chose to design a life where the right actions happen automatically. So, what's the first system you're going to build? Real-life examples of life-changing systems. We've talked a lot about why systems work and how to create them, but ideas become much more powerful when you see them in action. Here, we'll walk through real-life examples, drawn from business, health, personal growth, and creativity that show exactly how people have transformed their lives, not through sudden bursts of motivation, but through simple, repeatable systems. The 1% wealth system. The problem: a 28-year-old teacher named Maria wanted to save money, but she found that by the end of each month, there was never anything left to put aside. The system: instead of trying to save more, Maria set up an automatic savings transfer for 1% of her paycheck every payday. Because it happened before she saw the money, she didn't feel the loss. Every 6 months, she increased the percentage by 1%. The result: after 3 years, Maria was saving 7% of her income without feeling any lifestyle squeeze. Her emergency fund was fully stocked, she had money for a vacation, and she finally started investing, all without relying on budgeting willpower. Lesson: systems remove the need to decide each time. Automation turns good intentions into guaranteed progress. The micro-workout method. The problem: Alex, a software developer, wanted to get fit but hated going to the gym. Long workouts felt intimidating, and after work, he was too tired to start. The system: he committed to just 5 minutes of exercise every morning, push-ups, squats, and planks. The rule was simple: he had to do something, but never more than 10 minutes. Over time, the short sessions became longer naturally as his fitness improved and confidence grew. The result: in 2 years, Alex lost 20 pounds, doubled his strength, and began running 5Ks without ever forcing himself into a traditional gym routine. Lesson: small, low-barrier systems are easier to start, and once in motion, they gather momentum. The 20-minute creator rule. The problem: Priya dreamed of writing a novel but struggled to find the time. She'd wait for long blocks of free time that never came, and months would pass without progress. The system: she set a rule: write for 20 minutes immediately after breakfast. No phone, no email. The short time frame made it feel doable, but the consistency added up. On weekends, she often wrote longer because she was already in the zone. The result? In 1 year, Priya completed her first draft, something she'd been trying and failing to do for a decade. Lesson: a system doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent and anchored to a reliable trigger. The relationship touchpoint. The problem: David, a busy consultant, felt disconnected from his friends and family. His work schedule left him drained, and he realized weeks could pass without him reaching out to loved ones. The system: every Sunday morning, David spent 15 minutes sending short voice notes, texts, or emails to 3 people he cared about. He kept a rotating list so everyone heard from him regularly. The result? His relationships deepened, he rekindled old friendships, and he felt more supported during stressful times, all from a 15-minute weekly ritual.
Lesson: relationship health doesn't happen by accident. A simple system can make sure the people who matter most don't slip through the cracks. The idea capture habit. The problem: Sophie, a marketing manager, had creative ideas all the time, but by the time she sat down to use them, she'd forgotten most of them. The system: she created a single ideas note on her phone. Every time she had a thought worth exploring, she added it there, no matter how small or unfinished. Once a week, she reviewed and organized the list. The result: her creative output skyrocketed. She stopped losing great ideas, and her team noticed her new consistency and innovation. Lesson: your brain is for processing, not for storage. A system to capture and organize thoughts makes creativity more reliable. The learning loop. The problem: James wanted to learn Spanish but couldn't stick with language apps. He'd get enthusiastic for a week and then drop off. The system: he set a rule: listen to 10 minutes of Spanish audio during his commute every weekday. Once a week, he'd spend 15 minutes reviewing notes from what he'd heard. In 18 months, James could hold a basic conversation and watch Spanish shows with subtitles, something he never achieved when he relied on sporadic study sessions. Lesson: attaching a learning system to an existing routine turns "I should" into "I always." The stress reset routine. The problem: Clara, a small business owner, found herself overwhelmed daily. Stress would spiral, leading to poor decisions and late nights. The system: whenever she felt stress rise above a 7 out of 10, she followed a 3-step reset. Walk away from her desk, spend 3 minutes breathing deeply, and write down the next single action she could take. The result: her stress became more manageable and she made calmer, better decisions. The reset became so automatic that she would do it without thinking. Lesson: a system can be a response mechanism, a preset way to handle challenges so you don't rely on emotional reactions. Why these examples work. If you notice, every example here is specific: what, when, how often, is simple enough to repeat without much effort, uses triggers or automation to make it hard to forget, and builds results over time, not overnight. These systems are not glamorous. They don't require massive willpower or extreme discipline, but they compound. Small wins, stacked daily or weekly, become life-altering over months and years. How to create your own life-changing example. You can borrow inspiration from these stories, but the real magic happens when you identify your own biggest friction point, ask, what's the smallest repeatable action I could take, attach it to a trigger or automate it, and commit to trying it for 30 days. You don't have to copy someone's exact system, you can adapt the principle to your life. The people in these examples didn't become successful because they found a secret shortcut. They simply made small actions unavoidable. You can do the same. Pick one area, create one system, and let time do the heavy lifting. One day, you might be telling your own story as an example for someone else. How to stack and scale multiple systems for maximum impact. From one system to a systemized life. By now, you know how to create a single system and make it stick. But real transformation happens when you stop thinking of your life as a set of isolated habits and start thinking of it as an ecosystem of systems, each one supporting and reinforcing the others. When your systems are connected, progress accelerates. You spend less time deciding and more time doing. The mental load drops and your results grow exponentially. This is where you go from doing better to operating on an entirely different level.
Maybe your anchor point stopped working. Example, if your after-work system fails after switching jobs, your old trigger is gone. Is it the environment? External changes like travel, new schedules, or noise can make old systems clunky. Is it the scope? Sometimes you overbuilt, too many steps, too long, too strict. Is it the relevance? A system that once solved a problem may no longer matter as much. Understanding the real cause stops you from trying random fixes. Apply the minimum viable system rule. When life gets chaotic,
Shrink your system to its simplest possible version rather than abandoning it. Examples: if your after-work system fails after switching jobs, your old trigger is gone. Is it the environment? External changes like travel, new schedules, or noise can make old systems clunky. Is it the scope? Sometimes you overbuilt, too many steps, too long, too strict. Is it the relevance? A system that once solved a problem may no longer matter as much. Understanding the real cause stops you from trying random fixes. Apply the minimum viable system rule. When life gets chaotic, shrink your system to its simplest possible version rather than abandoning it. Examples: full workout system becomes one set of push-ups daily. Daily journaling system becomes write one sentence. Meal prep system becomes chop vegetables for one day instead of 3. This keeps the habit alive so it's easier to rebuild later. Refresh a boring system. Even great systems can get stale. Here's how to reignite interest. Change the format. If your reading system feels dull, switch from books to audiobooks or podcasts. Add variety. Rotate different workouts, recipes, or learning topics. Gamify it. Use tracking apps, streak counters, or rewards. Pair it with novelty. Do your habit in a new location or alongside a new one. Sometimes it's not about replacing the system. It's about making it fun again. Upgrade outdated systems. As you grow, some systems will become too easy or too small for your goals. For example, a 10-minute learning system might need to become 30 minutes as your skills improve. A $50 per month savings system might increase to $200 per month as your income grows. Ask yourself every 3 to 6 months, is this system still challenging me enough to produce results? Seasonal and life stage adjustments. Systems are not meant to be permanent in their original form. Your needs change. Seasonal shifts. Your exercise system in summer, outdoor runs, might become indoor workouts in winter. Life events. A new baby, career change, or move might require temporary light mode versions of your systems. Aging. Physical capacity, attention span, and health may shift. Systems should match your current reality, not your past one. The goal is adaptability, not stubbornness. Avoid the all-or-nothing trap. A major cause of system failure is the belief that if you can't do it perfectly, you might as well skip it. Instead, lower the bar temporarily. Doing 20% of your system is far better than 0%. Break the streak obsession. Missing a day isn't failure. Missing twice in a row is the danger point. Focus on identity. Even if you do less, you're still the type of person who follows that system. Run a system post-mortem. When a system fails completely, don't just delete it, learn from it. Ask, what worked before it broke? What made it stop working? If I tried again, what would I change? This way, every failure makes your future systems more resilient. Build in flex weeks. If you have several systems running, it's smart to plan occasional flex weeks, scheduled breaks where you intentionally relax or change your routines. Benefits: prevent burnout, allow creative resets, test if systems are truly habits or just fragile structures. After a flex week, you can return with renewed energy and fresh ideas, evolving into second-generation systems. Over time, you'll create second-generation systems, refined, stronger versions of your originals. Example evolution: first-gen health system, walk 10 minutes daily. Second-gen, strength train 3 times a week, plus track protein intake, plus keep daily walk. These evolved systems handle more complexity because your base habits are already automatic. The adaptable writer. Sam had a writing system, 500 words every morning after coffee. It worked great until Sam started a night shift job. Mornings were now for sleeping. Instead of quitting, Sam moved writing to the start of his evening, which technically was 8 a.m., and reduced it to 200 words while adjusting to the new schedule. Over 3 months, the word count grew back to 500. Sam didn't lose momentum. He evolved the system to fit a new reality. Systems are living things. Think of your systems like gardens, not machines. Machines break down and need repairs when one part fails. Gardens grow, adapt, and change with seasons. If you treat your systems as living structures, you'll adjust them naturally, avoid burnout, and keep them working for years. The best system isn't the one you start with. It's the one you're still running, in some form, a decade from now. The mindset that keeps systems alive forever. Why mindset is the ultimate system. Every system you've built so far, whether for health, work, learning, or relationships, depends on one hidden factor: the way you think about it. Without the right mindset, even the best designed systems eventually collapse. With the right mindset, even imperfect systems can deliver huge, lasting results. The truth is, your systems will only live as long as your mindset supports them. Identity over outcome. Most people start systems to hit a goal: lose 20 pounds, save $10,000, write a book. But when the goal is reached, the system often dies. The fix? Anchor systems to your identity, not just your outcome. Instead of, "I want to lose 20 pounds," to, "I'm the kind of person who takes care of my health." Instead of, "I want to write a book," to, "I'm the kind of person who writes daily." Goals end, identities last. When you think of your system as part of who you are, you'll keep it alive long after the first milestone is reached. Progress over perfection. A perfectionist mindset is the graveyard of many systems. The all-or-nothing trap sounds like, "I missed 2 workouts this week, so I failed. I didn't stick to my budget exactly, so I might as well give up." The systems mindset says, missing is part of the process. 70% execution is infinitely better than 0%. What matters is getting back on track quickly, not never slipping. The people who keep systems alive aren't flawless, they're persistent. Curiosity over judgment. When a system struggles, many people judge themselves harshly. "I'm lazy, I have no willpower." But judgment doesn't fix anything. It just makes you want to quit. Instead, adopt a curious mindset. Why did this system feel harder this week? What changed in my environment?
How can I make this easier next time? Curiosity turns failures into data points. Every slip becomes an upgrade opportunity. Process over hacks. Hacks, tricks, and shortcuts can give you quick wins, but they rarely last. Systems thinking means you'd rather build something slow but sustainable than quick but fragile. You focus on the engine, not just the fuel. You know consistency beats intensity in the long run. The mindset is, how can I make this so reliable I can keep doing it even when life gets messy? Compound gains over quick wins. The real power of systems comes from compounding, small daily actions adding up over months and years. This mindset is like investing. Daily reading equals exponential knowledge growth. Weekly savings equals major financial stability. Regular networking equals unexpected career opportunities. You stop asking, "What can I get this month?" and start asking, "Where will this take me in 5 years?" Adaptability over rigidity. Rigid thinkers break when life changes. System thinkers bend and adapt. If your gym closes, you shift to home workouts. If your morning routine dies after having a baby, you build a night routine instead. The flexible mindset says, the principle stays the same, but the method can change. I can always redesign my systems to fit the new reality. Self-compassion over self-criticism. Long-term consistency requires kindness toward yourself. Think about it. If you treat yourself like a drill sergeant every time you miss a system, you'll start avoiding it entirely. Self-compassion means you accept human imperfection. You reset without guilt. You treat yourself like a teammate, not an enemy. This keeps your system safe from burnout. Playing the infinite game. An infinite game has no finish line. The goal is to keep playing. That's the ultimate mindset for systems. You're not just doing them for the next 30 days, you're doing them for as long as they keep you healthy, growing, and fulfilling. You realize fitness isn't an 8-week program. Learning isn't a one-course project. Relationships aren't maintained by one big gesture, they're the result of ongoing small actions. When you think this way, you stop finishing systems and start living them. How to reinforce these mindsets daily. Mindset isn't set and forget, it needs maintenance. Here's how. Daily identity reminder. Start your day by saying, I'm the kind of person who does this system. End of day review. Ask, did I show up for my systems today? If not, why? Monthly reflection. Look back on small wins and compounding results to stay motivated. Surround yourself with systems thinkers. Join communities, masterminds, or friend groups where consistent action is normal. The 10-year vision test. Here's a quick mindset exercise. Picture yourself 10 years from now. Imagine you kept even one of your current systems running that whole time. What would the result be? This vision makes it clear that your systems aren't just habits, they're investments in your future self. Your mindset is the system. You can have every tracker, planner, and automation in the world, but if your mindset says, I'll quit when it's inconvenient, no tool can save you. And the opposite is true. If your mindset says, I'll adapt, adjust, and keep going, if you believe I'm a systems person, it's just who I am, then your systems will survive any challenge. When you combine practical design, parts 1 through 9, with this mindset foundation, you're not just running systems, you're living in a self-sustaining cycle of growth. The result is not just a better month or year, but a better life.